You wouldn't have known this, quite a big issue which needed to be resolved. This was kind of music to my ears because I thought, you have to strip the engine apart and passing the buck on to you guys. Kind of got a bit stressful, probably get charged a hefty bill. The suspicions were obviously found. Turned out it was all bad news. She was ready just in the nick of time. Right, take two, trying to attempt to record this video after me thinking I'd left my mics at home. Turns out they're in my car, in a jacket. After all, there's always someone coming, isn't there, when you get the perfect setup? Always the way. Hi guys, what is going on? And I must remember to stop shouting into these microphones. After years of shouting to a camera, I've got to keep it all down low. Now, before I get into this video, no, this is not clickbait. This is a true story. Unfortunately, yeah, I said not clickbait, all right? You wouldn't have known this because I've kept it quiet off the socials, but recently I was actually without my Abarth for a whole week because it basically ended up having quite a major issue. Yes, that's right, as the title pretty much says it for the title of this video. I've recently been without my Abarth because it was actually poorly, and when I say it was poorly, it was quite a big issue which needed to be resolved. So if you go back to the reveal video I did, like, hey, I'm back in Abarth number 5 and all that good kind of stuff, I said as part of the sale, was part of the deal with me buying this car, the Ford dealership I bought this car used from, they agreed to do a cam belt and water pump because the cam belt needed doing. And obviously it's always good practice when you change a cam belt to change / fit a new water pump. And that was good, right? They were paying to fit a cam belt and water pump to my little Abarth. Big money job in labour and parts, but no doubt I bought the car with a new cam belt and water pump fitted. And it's always good practice when your car's had a cam belt, water pump change, just keep an eye on the coolant because the coolant will be flushing through the engine more than normal, mainly because the water pump side of things. So I was keeping an eye on the coolant and I topped it up, and then I topped it up and I had to keep kind of topping it up. It wasn't that bad, but I had to keep topping it up 2 or 3 times. I said to my dad, is this normal? And him being more mechanically minded than me, and he said, yeah, Amber, you're right, just keep an eye on the coolant. It will drink it a bit more because it's recently had a cam belt and water pump. Now, as you would have seen in a recent upload, my car went back to visit my good friends at K-TEC Racing for an intercooler job. And they got it up on the ramp to fit said intercooler. And whilst it was up on the ramp, the technician, James, said, you've got a bit of a coolant leak. And this was kind of music to my ears because I thought, I did suspect something like this and you've just confirmed it, basically. So he said, Amber, not to worry you too much, but you have got a slight coolant leak. It's not the worst I've seen, but you have got something there. And I said to James, that probably explains why I've had to keep topping up the coolant more than I would have thought. So with that, I said to James, come on, find out, please do some investigation, find out now why the coolant is leaking. He was like, hold fire, let me finish the intercooler first, and then I'll do some investigation work, or as much as investigation work as James could at the time. And after me informing James that this car had recently had a cam belt and water pump job when I bought the car, he said his suspicions would be that the water pump is leaking. And without him being able to obviously go into the car and strip the engine apart, he looked up and he said the water pumps are located about there, and I'd say that's probably where the coolant leak's coming from. With that, got my old mobile phone out. This is my mobile phone. I phoned the Ford dealership and I explained that something they have done has caused a problem for my car. Put that down now. And the salesman who I actually bought the car from, I was speaking to him on the phone, and he said the car's warranty, used car warranty, generic basic warranties expired, and that if I wanted the car to come in for investigation work, I'd have to pay. So with that, the phone went down, picked up this phoned my dad. I was like, yeah, Dad, I think my car's got a bit of a water pump leak. Can you just like have a quick little look into it? And he was like, Amber, water pump, any job water pump related, cam belt related, isn't just a quick look. You have to strip the engine apart, get the car on ramps. And I was like, Dad, I hear you. Back on the phone to the Ford dealership, I was like, look, if I was telling you guys that my brakes weren't working or I had a problem with my brakes and you said you didn't touch my brakes, I get it. But I'm telling you I've got an issue with something that you have touched, therefore it's your fault. I'm passing the buck on to you guys. And to be fair, credit to the dealership I bought the car from. I didn't have to argue on the phone like I was kind of making out. I didn't have to argue. All I said was, like, this is something you've touched, it's gone wrong. This car needs to be looked at by yourselves, free of charge. And they agreed, yeah, we'll get the car free of charge in to investigate, and it probably is what you're saying it is. So And because Ford were then going to agree to take my car in to be investigated for free, I was really hoping it was then chem belt water pump related, otherwise I'd probably get charged a hefty bill. So here is when this whole situation kind of got a bit stressful. They agreed to have a look at my car for free. So on the Monday, the car was in with K-TEC, and on the Thursday evening after work, I took my car, dropped it off at this Ford dealership for them to have a look at. They were going to have a look at it on the next day, which made it a Friday. So let's talk about days. So basically, when the car was being looked at Ford on a Friday, I needed it back in a week's time on the next Friday because my bad 24/7 meet was fastly approaching on that weekend. And what good is it having your own meet when your own car isn't even there? Trying to explain that. But I kept it all kind of chill vibes, man, because I didn't want to stress the Ford dealership out. I didn't want to say, look, this car must be ready in a week. But that was what I was thinking up here. And if I needed to kind of let that known, then that would be my kind of get out of jail card free. That would kind of be my give my Abarth back kind of card kind of deal. So they investigated this coolant leak with my Abarth. It went on their ramp. They phoned me up. Very good customer service from this dealership, by the way. They kept me in contact like nearly every day. Anyway, serviceman gets on the phone to me and he says, we can confirm the car has a coolant leak. We can confirm it's coming from the water pump, which makes it our issue. We can confirm we're going to order in a cam belt kit, which will include a water pump and cam belt. And while we're there, we're just going to obviously refit. We're going to put on a new water pump because that's where the leak is coming from. It's coming from where the water pump was connected to the engine. Don't know if it's a faulty water pump. Not being funny, don't know if it was a technician fitting error. Don't know, don't really care because it's been sorted now. But because they were ordering a cam belt kit, with the cam belt kit, with the water pump also came a fresh cam belt, and they said, well, we've got a new cam belt, we're just going to whack that on as well. So I think the car's had another cam belt, so it's had 2 cam belts in the past 5 months, and we have a new water pump on there. But when they were stripping the engine to obviously get to the water pump and cam belt area, unfortunately a breather pipe had perished. They said it was not really their fault, it was more of a here comes another car. So yeah, when they were stripping the engine apart, they had to move this pipe out of the way. It had perished, and obviously when they moved it, it broke basically. So then they were trying to phone up a Abarth dealership to also get a genuine cam belt kit. They couldn't get hold of this Abarth dealership. Luckily, we have a local Abarth dealership back in town. So I said, these guys are just new in business as such. Give them a ring. Thank goodness I suggested that to the Ford dealer because he rang our local Abarth dealership, Theatre Abarth dealership. And yeah, they answered the phone, which was a great start. And they were able to supply the Ford dealership with a genuine Abarth cam belt kit. So they ordered the kit on the Friday when the car went in, but Ford said that the cam belt kit will arrive with them on the Wednesday, leaving 2 days, Thursday and Friday. I needed that car back on the Friday. They kept in contact with me all the way through, as I've already said. On a Wednesday, when the cam belt kit was meant to arrive with them, it didn't. So I was literally starting to pull my big, thick brunette locks out. So it didn't arrive Wednesday. This was bad news. They were then promised the cam belt kit would arrive Thursday morning. I didn't hear from the Ford dealership Thursday morning. I thought, is no news good news? Turned out it was all bad news. I phoned the Ford dealership myself and I said, is this kit arrived yet? They said no. Then I phoned them back again or something like that. And then they said the cam belt kit's just arrived. So everyone calm down, it's just arrived with us. This wasn't looking so good for me, meaning and being kind of told by the Ford dealership you'll be getting your car Friday, because the cam belt kit had arrived with them Thursday lunchtime around 12 o'clock. So they had a half a day Thursday and a whole job Friday. Now for a big job like cam belt kit and water pump change, this isn't leaving many labour hours for the technicians to do the cam belt change, water pump fitted, put the engine back together. So originally, when Ford were told the bits would be with them on the Wednesday, they were like, yeah, you'll get your car back Friday, no worries. But then when they received the cam belt kit Thursday afternoon lunchtime, I was thinking to myself, this ain't looking like a good situation. And I need that car back from my bad 24/7 meet that weekend. And they kept saying to me, like I say, yeah, be ready Friday. But I was thinking this is looking very, very unlikely indeed. So I was without the Abarth for a week. We are a 2-car household. Luckily, this sounds horrible, Mark was ill, so I was able to take his Focus ST to work. But then when he was better, which was then good news for him, obviously, and of course me, I wanted him to be well, he then needed his own car, which makes total sense. Then I was left without a car, so my mum had to sometimes run me to and from work. Being without a car, especially when you're actually a petrol head and you actually love your car, it was a really tough week. And as I say, I was starting to then get stressed out, thinking that this car ain't going to be ready by Friday for my meet that weekend. And to be honest, I can't really remember what happened now because it's happened like a week ago or so. But basically, like I say, the parts arrived with them the Thursday lunchtime. Then they had the whole day Friday to get the car put back together. It was cutting it real fine because I'd arranged with my work to try and leave early in hopes that the Friday thing was still a thing and I can go and pick this car up Friday after work. I phoned the dealership around 4 o'clock and he said, look, Amber, it's not looking good. And I said, look, can the technician stay on? Can he work a Saturday for me? You know, I was telling a service guy how to organise his staff and all that. I was like, look, I'm going to have to say, like, I really do need this car back Friday, like, or I'm kind of screwed. And then he phoned me Friday at like 5 o'clock and he said, Amber, I didn't think it would be ready, but I've been out to the technician. He thinks we're all good. He hasn't turned the car on yet, but if you want to make your way down, you're more than likely going to be picking up your car. So they literally left it to the wire, as they say. Sure enough, my mum again had to drop me to the dealership and my car was there, parked up outside the workshop, which means she was ready to be collected. And that was the story. Yeah, stressful times. A big thanks to K-TEC Racing, to James, for when fitting my intercooler, knowing that I had a coolant leak, confirming my suspicions. And a big thanks to the Ford dealership who in the end said, yeah, we'll look at the car for free. They looked at it for free. The suspicions were obviously found. It was fact. It was a fact, is what I'm trying to say. It was a done fact. It was a true fact that the water pump was leaking. And like I say, not only have they fitted a water pump, they've supplied a brand new genuine breather hose, which was a bit of pipe work that broke because it was perished basically. So wear and tear item. And my car's ended up having another cam belt because why not? So it's had 2 cam belts since November. It was stressful times being without this car because, as you guys know, this isn't just a car to me, it's my pride and joy. I love it. You know, I just not seeing my car outside the front of the house was quite sad. And I was reminiscing watching back some of my YouTube videos featuring this car and it was making me more sad. But it's done. Poor little girl. But she was ready just in the nick of time for my bad 24/7 meet, because as you would have seen in that video, my car was there, but it could have been a completely different story. But yeah, credit to the Ford dealership, great communication. I gave the service guy, I was like, look, have some eggs, Easter eggs, have some Easter eggs, have some chocolates. Great communication. Thank you so much for getting my car ready for when you always promised it would be. It wasn't nearly going to be, but it was. So that was it. I've topped up the coolant since because it has had a new water pump, but I've just checked it today from when I last topped it up. Doesn't need any more topping up. That is it for this video, guys. And I told you, didn't I? Told you this wasn't clickbait. Did you believe me? I hope so, because I'm a good girl. I don't tell no lies on this channel. The Abarth was broken in a pretty bad, major way. It got sorted. The car made it to the ball, as I say. The car made it to the bad 24/7 meet that I had a bad Abarth. South Coast recently. Just thought I'd make this video because it's a bit of news, a bit of like, oh, the Abarth broken, oh, this is bad. And it was stressful times, as I say, but we got there in the end. I tend to see myself as quite a lucky person, and luck was definitely on my side with getting this car back just in time. Thanks for watching this one. Just thought I'd update you that my Abarth did break, but now it's back on the road again. So thanks for watching this one. See you in another video. We are a 2-car house. No.